Of course, conspiracy theorists have been heckled by the media quite a bit for suggesting that COVID vaccines, and this was, I don't know if it was last week, it wasn't too long ago, but it's been going on for a while, for suggesting that the COVID vaccines could shed to unvaxxed people potentially. It's even been fact-checked.
One influencer claiming that just being around someone who's been vaccinated causes those side effects. That not only can the COVID-19 vaccines hurt women's fertility by attacking the placenta, they cause a vaccinated person to shed the virus onto women and affect their periods or pregnancies. So the first part, as I reported here on Fact Check Friday before, the WHO says it's not true.
The vaccines we give cannot cause infertility.
About those who've been vaccinated shedding virus particles and causing harm to others, I have found no scientific document or source that says it's even possible with the mRNA vaccines or the J&J vaccine.
Okay, now, it's not true yet. And what they just said is accurate. There is no scientific document available with the, did he say Pfizer and J&J vaccine?
Well, mRNA.
Right.
Something
RNA.
about a heart
Sorry,
attack.
I'm throwing the ends in the wrong place again.
The point is that is not inaccurate. But what they try and do is act like it's one person said, oh, hold on a second. No, this isn't just one person who believed that there's a potential for shedding. Or one person said this, and we haven't found any scientific literature on these specific vaccines. Understood. I'm not fact-checking that. I'm talking about the spirit of how they do this, and this is what they'll be doing at CNN. Right? It's the lies by omission. It's take an extremist fringe person to make a point that in another context might be valid or worth investigation, to dismiss it and then selectively present references that make your case for you. And by the way, that's why we present all references. They're available at louderwithcrowder.com. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in that pinned comment. And of course, if you're watching on Rumble or Mug Club, which I recommend you do, you can just go to the website and hit that tab. So here's the interesting part. Have you read about this? The researchers now in the US, the UK, and Australia are now researching the possibility of a, quote, self-spreading vaccine. I'm going to read this to you. The unvaccinated would, quote, catch the vaccine as it spreads rapidly across the country in airborne droplets passed on via close contact with others, just as colds and flu already spread. And we actually have exclusive footage of the preliminary results with the self-shedding vaccine trials. Well, that seems pretty cut and dry.
Oh, yeah.
It's worked before.
We're going to do it to ourselves, aren't we?
Yeah.
This is.
You mean what? Go to the top of a shopping mall with guns?
Yes. With Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
We'll just hang out.
This is a scary thought.
Well, it's funny, the yet that we threw on there was kind of a joke, but it's not a joke because every single time some claim like this gets made, and they're like, it's absolutely not possible for this to happen. And then we're like, that was only like 6 months ago.
Well, part of that. Getting a vaccine, I feel, is knowing the side effects per person and talking to your doctor, on a private basis, knowing how that would affect you individually. Not just catching it walking down the street the same as anything.
Right.
That seems extremely vicious.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Not only that, there is not now, of course, side effects and adverse reactions with vaccines are very rare in most cases.
Yes.
There are more side effects, with mRNA injections and all other.
No, I'm pro-vax. I just don't think you should catch it.
No, exactly. They're very rare, but I don't know of a single vaccine that doesn't affect certain individuals negatively with adverse effects, particularly things like neurological conditions. GBS is one of them. There are certain people who cannot even take a basic flu shot because of autoimmune issues.
People thinking Jenny McCarthy's an author.
Right. Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know how they spread that.
No, but it did.
So this is a concern, people who absolutely, upon their doctor's recommendation, cannot take vaccines, don't have a choice in the matter. And this is what's happened too. Think about this. We've done this with everything else where big pharma bad, right? People talk about big. They were villain du jour for a long time, except in this instance. We've done the same thing with medicine, drugs, opioids bad. Yep. Okay. Benzodiazepines bad. Okay. Even people, ibuprofen bad. Everything, drugs bad. You should take these. And then for some reason, though, when it relates to the vaccine, it's no, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good for everybody. I don't know any other medical intervention that is considered good for everybody. As a matter of fact, I don't think you can find one. And when you're talking about something that would be spreading or shedding, That's now putting that power in the hands of government. And of course, it's not only an infringement of personal liberty. I'm just wondering where all the people who were skeptical of big pharma and all the people who were talking about my body, my choice went to. I don't think it could be more clear than this. It's not like abortion, where, you believe abortion up until 9 months and including birth period. Now, I'm not creating a straw man. That's the actual policy of many leftist states, to be clear.
Yeah.
I don't know where the folks have gone.
No, I have no idea, too. And when we talk about the issues that we had early on with the vaccine, it wasn't that we were just making claims, right? Some fringe people were like saying, "Oh, it made my cousin's balls swell," if everybody remembers that, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily, it was
That was Cardi B.
Yeah, I know. We
Or
don't
Megan Thee Stallion.
Specifically, one of them.
I mean, they kind of blend. I don't know.
Who's the other one?
Yeah.
No, that was
that Nicki
Minaj?
Nicki.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj. Yes.
Oh, shoot. Admonish me.
upstanding
Admonish
citizen.
me in the comments section.
No, we'll do it live. on
How
the
could I
show.
have possibly confused them?
Admonish.
No, the problem we had was that
Clearly a race thing and not a 6-inch nail / talent thing.
well, yes.
Yeah.
We just didn't have any long-term studies because it hadn't been around long enough to have any long-term studies.
Yeah, generally that
That's all
helps.
we were asking
Long-term
for.
studies require something being around long-term.
Well, look at it. We're at about, what, a year and a
true.
half right now, and we're going, we didn't know. And it's like, really? This is all we were saying from the beginning is like,
Right.
hey, maybe just do some studies on this that go a little bit longer than, say, I don't know, a few months.
Yeah. Look, either you have to be blindly trusting of authority across the board, or you have to be skeptical across the board. Doesn't mean you have to agree with someone else who's a skeptic across the board. But I don't understand how people go from being a skeptic, particularly as it relates to big pharma, particularly as it relates to drug companies, and then it's completely gone. It's about consistency. I'm not required to suspend my consistency to say, hold on a second, is this a good idea, though?
Yeah.
Is it a good idea for every single individual? It's entirely consistent. It is inconsistent for someone to say, big pharma, we have problems with these it's one of the most powerful lobbying groups in all of Washington, D.C. is big pharma. I don't disagree with you there. I also believe that Western medicine is great.
Yeah.
If you have cancer and you're chewing on Kashtanga root, you're shit out of luck. But I'm still skeptical of every drug, and I believe that every person should have the right to choose. I believe that we should have more drugs available to people, and I believe that the FDA approval process, there's too much red tape. Obviously, it's a problem, that if someone understands the risks, they should be allowed to take that drug. That is entirely consistent with that person should also be allowed to not take that drug. When you see the policy of the left, right, these are the same people who said every single Democrat and every single member of Joe Biden's cabinet said either the vaccine could not possibly happen on Donald Trump's timeline,
Right.
or that they would not trust the vaccine, or they wouldn't take the vaccine. Almost all of them said all three, and they said it publicly on the record.
Yeah.
You can go back and just search, on YouTube, search on Mug Club, because you won't find it on YouTube. You can see that this is something that Joe Biden himself said, Kamala Harris, it's unrealistic for it to happen at this time. I wouldn't trust the vaccine because it happened under Trump, and I wouldn't take the vaccine. All of that is gone now.
Yeah.
All of it? Just asking that we be consistent, especially as it relates to people's private medical decisions and what you put in your own body.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.